I sat at the dining table for 4 hours that night, watching the roast chicken turn cold, the mashed potatoes form a skin, the green beans lose their color. The candles I'd lit at 6 o'clock had burned down to stubs by the time I finally blew them out at 10. My 68th birthday. I'd spent 3 days preparing. I'd made David's favorite, my honey-glazed chicken with rosemary. I'd made Lisa's the garlic mashed potatoes she used to beg for as a child. I'd even picked up that expensive wine David always talked about, the one from that vineyard in Napa he'd visited last spring with his new wife. They'd both said yes. David had texted me 2 weeks ago. "Wouldn't miss it, Mom. Amber's excited to come too." Lisa had called. "Of course I'll be there. It's your birthday. I'll bring dessert." I'd believed them. At 6:15, I texted David, "Dinner's ready whenever you are." At 6:30, I called Lisa. Voicemail. At 7, I called David. "Hey, Mom, can't talk right now. I'll call you back." He never did. At 8, I sent a group text. "Is everything okay? I'm getting worried." At 8:45, I opened Instagram. I don't use it much. Sophie, my granddaughter, set it up for me last year so I could see her art. But that night I scrolled through, looking for, I don't know what. Some sign that my children were alive, I suppose, that they hadn't been in an accident. That's when I saw it. A photo. Posted 30 minutes ago. David and Lisa, dressed to the nines, champagne glasses raised, standing in what looked like a hotel ballroom. The caption read, "Portland Tech Gala with my favorite sister. Networking goals. Number Tech Life. Number siblings. Number Portland events. My favorite sister." Not with my sister. Not just a photo. A declaration. A celebration. I stared at that screen until my eyes burned. They were together. They were fine. They were 7 miles away from me, at the Sentinel Hotel downtown, drinking champagne and networking while I sat alone with a table set for 5. I didn't cry. That surprised me. I thought I would cry. Instead, I felt something else. Something cold and clear, like water from a deep well. It started in my chest and spread outward, through my arms, down to my fingertips. I picked up my phone and took a picture of my dining table. The untouched plates, the wilted flowers, the burned-down candles. I didn't post it anywhere. I just needed evidence, I think. Proof that this had really happened. Then I stood up, walked to the kitchen, and started putting food into containers, methodically, quietly. The way I used to grade papers one at a time. No emotion, just work to be done. My name is Margaret Chen, but everyone calls me Maggie. I taught high school English in Portland for 32 years. I raised 2 children in this house on Alameda Street, in the Beaumont, Wilshire neighborhood. I was married to my husband James for 43 years before he died of a heart attack 3 years ago. And on my 68th birthday, I learned something I should have learned a long time ago. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me tell you how I got here. James and I bought this house in 1982. It was a fixer-upper back then, a 1,920 seconds craftsman with good bones but terrible everything else. We spent our weekends sanding floors, painting walls, replanting the garden. David was 5, Lisa was 2. They grew up in this house. They learned to ride bikes on this street. They carved their names into the big oak tree in the backyard. James worked in accounting. He was careful with money, had to be, on a teacher's and accountant's salaries. But we were happy. We took camping trips instead of European vacations. We had potlucks instead of catered parties. The kids never went without, but they knew that money didn't grow on trees. At least I thought they knew. Looking back now, I can see where it started to shift. James got promoted when David was in high school, made senior partner at his firm. Suddenly, we had more money. Not rich, but comfortable. James wanted to give the kids things he'd never had. Private college funds, new cars for their 16th birthdays, that trip to Europe for Lisa's graduation. I went along with it. Why wouldn't I? We could afford it. And James was so happy to be able to provide. But somewhere in there, something changed. The kids stopped saying thank you. They started expecting. When Lisa wanted money for a down payment on her first house, she didn't ask, she assumed we'd give it. When David's startup needed seed funding, he came to us like we were a bank, with a presentation and projected returns. James gave them the money, every time. After he died, it got worse. I was drowning in grief that first year. I couldn't think straight. I'd forget to eat. I'd find myself crying in the grocery store, in the garden, in the middle of grading papers that I'd promised to finish before I retired. The kids were there, sort of. David called once a week, but the calls got shorter. Lisa visited once a month, but she was always checking her phone, always had somewhere else to be. They helped me with the funeral arrangements, I'll give them that. But during the wake, while people were still sharing memories of James, I overheard them in the kitchen. "We need to talk to Mom about the house," David said. "This place is too big for her now. She should sell it, move into a condo." "The market's hot right now," Lisa replied. "We could list it for at least $800,000, maybe more. We should call that real estate agent, the one who sold the Johnsons' place. Already have her number." I stood in the hallway, holding a tray of coffee cups, listening to my children plan my life around my husband's casket. I didn't say anything. Not then. I told myself they were just worried about me. They didn't want me to be alone in this big house. But they never asked what I wanted. Over the next 2 years, there were other things. Small things that I noticed but didn't add up until later. Money disappeared from our joint account, the one James and I had shared, the one I'd forgotten to close. When I asked David about it, he said, "Oh, Dad told me I could use that for the business expenses. Remember? You said it was fine." I didn't remember saying that. But I'd been so foggy after James died. Maybe I had. Lisa borrowed my car for a few days and kept it for 3 months. When I needed it back, she acted like I was inconveniencing her. They both stopped coming to Sunday dinners. Too busy, too much going on. They'd make it next week. Next week never came. The only one who kept showing up was Sophie, David's daughter from his first marriage, 16 years old, with her father's dark hair and her grandmother's love for art. She'd come over every Saturday, sit in the garden with me, show me her sketches. "Grandma," she said one Saturday last April, "are you okay?" "Of course, sweetheart. Why do you ask?" "I don't know. You seem sad. And Dad never talks about you anymore. He and Amber are always busy with work stuff. Your dad has a lot on his plate." "Yeah, but..." She hesitated. "Do you ever feel like people only call you when they need something?" That question hit me harder than it should have. "Sometimes," I admitted. "Me too," she said quietly. "Dad forgot my art show last month, said he'd be there, but he didn't show up. Sent flowers the next day, though." I took her hand. This girl, this wonderful, sensitive girl, was being taught the same lesson her father had learned. That love could be transactional, that presence could be replaced with presence. "Your art matters," I told her. "You matter. Don't forget that." She squeezed my hand. "You matter too, Grandma." 3 weeks before my birthday, I found something. I was cleaning out the attic, finally going through James's things. I'd avoided it for 3 years. But the weather was warming up, and I needed to do something with my hands, something to keep the loneliness at bay. In a box labeled "Important Papers," under old tax returns and insurance documents, I found a journal, James's handwriting on the cover. "Private Thoughts." I almost didn't open it. It felt wrong, invasive, but something made me flip to the last entry. It was dated 2 weeks before he died. "Margaret doesn't see it, but I do. The kids only call when they need money. David's 3rd emergency this year, his precious startup is bleeding cash, and he wants me to bail him out again. Lisa's talking about remodeling her kitchen, hinting that we could invest in increasing her property value. They don't ask about their mother. They don't ask about me, except to confirm that the money will keep flowing. I'm tired, Maggie. I'm tired of giving pieces of myself to people who can't even be bothered to show up. If I go first, don't let them bully you. You've given enough. You owe them nothing. Nothing. You deserve to live the rest of your life for yourself. Remember, love is not supposed to feel like loss. I read those words 5 times. James had known. He'd seen it. And he'd been carrying this weight alone, not wanting to burden me. I sat in that dusty attic for an hour, holding his journal, feeling something crack open inside me. That's when I decided to do something for my birthday. A test, maybe. Or a hope. I wanted to believe that if I created the opportunity, they'd show up. That if I made them their favorite foods, set a beautiful table, sent them reminders, they'd remember that I existed for reasons beyond my bank account. I wanted to be wrong about what I was starting to see. But I wasn't wrong. The morning after my birthday, I woke up to a text from David. "Sorry we missed last night, Mom. The gala ran late and we were exhausted. Let's do lunch next week." That was it. No happy birthday. No explanation for why he didn't call, didn't text, didn't show up. Just let's do lunch next week. An empty promise I'd heard 100 times before. Lisa didn't text at all. I got out of bed, made coffee, and sat in the garden. It was late September, that perfect Portland fall weather where the air is crisp, but the sun is still warm. The hydrangeas were in bloom. The oak tree was starting to turn gold. This house. This beautiful house that James and I built together. I thought about what would happen if I died tomorrow. David and Lisa would show up for the funeral, I believed that much. They'd cry, they'd look sad, and then they'd start dividing things up. The house, the furniture, the savings account, James's life insurance policy that I'd barely touched. They'd take everything we'd built, sell it off, and move on with their lives. And I'd be gone. Just a memory. Just an inheritance. That's when I heard James's voice in my head, as clear as if he were sitting beside me. "You owe them nothing." I picked up my phone and called my friend Patricia. We'd taught together for 20 years, retired the same year. She answered on the second ring. "Maggie, how was your birthday dinner?" I told her. Everything. There was a long silence. Then, "Those little shits." I almost laughed. Patricia didn't usually swear. "What are you going to do?" she asked. "I don't know yet. But something." "Good. You want me to come over?" "I'll bring wine. Tomorrow. I need to think today." After I hung up, I went inside and started going through my files. Financial documents, the house deed, bank statements, life insurance papers. The numbers were bigger than I'd realized. The house was worth at least $800,000, like Lisa had said, maybe more. I had $200,000 in savings. James's pension was still paying out. The life insurance had been $500,000. I wasn't rich, but I was comfortable. Very comfortable. And I'd been living like I was still stretching a teacher's salary. That afternoon, I made a list. Not a to-do list, a truth list. Truth. My children do not call unless they need something. Truth. They missed my birthday for a networking event. Truth. They have been taking money from me for years without appreciation. Truth. James saw this before he died, and it broke his heart. Truth. I have been setting myself on fire to keep them warm. Truth. I am 68 years old, and I'm still waiting for them to love me the way I love them. Truth. They won't. And that's not my fault. I stared at that list for a long time. Then I added one more line. Truth. I deserve better. The next day, Patricia came over with wine and sympathy and righteous anger on my behalf. "You know what you should do?" she said. "Sell the house. Take a trip. Do something for yourself for once." They'd never forgive me. So what? They're not even showing up now. What exactly would you be losing? That question stayed with me. Sophie came over that Saturday, like always. She took one look at me and said, "What happened?" I told her about the birthday dinner, about her dad and aunt at the gala. Her face fell. "Oh, Grandma, I didn't know. Dad told me he was going to dinner with some investors. He didn't say." "It's okay, sweetie. It's not okay." She looked angry. "He does this. He says one thing and does another. And Aunt Lisa's the same way. They're always talking about family values, but they don't actually show up. That's very perceptive. I'm 16, not blind. She paused. Are you going to do something about it? Like what? I don't know. But Grandma, you're the strongest person I know. You don't deserve to be treated like this. Strong. She thought I was strong. I didn't feel strong. I felt tired. Sad. Angry. Confused. But maybe strength wasn't about feeling strong. Maybe it was about acting anyway. That week, I made 3 appointments. First, I called Lisa's real estate friend, the one they'd mentioned during James's wake. Her name was Jennifer. I'm thinking about selling my house, I told her. She was at my door in 30 minutes. We walked through the house together. She took notes, took pictures, nodded approvingly at the original hardwood floors, the updated kitchen, the garden. Mrs. Chen, this is a beautiful property. In this market, with this location, I'd estimate 900,000, maybe more with the right staging. 900,000. More than I'd thought. How fast could it sell? Fast. This neighborhood? You'd have multiple offers within a week. Let's do it. She looked surprised. Don't you want to think about it? Talk to your family? No, I said. This is my house, my decision. Second, I called my lawyer Robert. He'd handled our estate planning when James died. Robert, I need to update some things. Of course. What are you thinking? Everything. I want to change everything. We met the next day. I told him what I wanted and he didn't blink, just took notes and nodded. This is going to upset your children, he said carefully. I know. You're sure about this? I thought about 4 hours at a dining table. I thought about James's journal. I thought about Sophie, the only one who kept showing up. I'm sure. Third, I called the University of Portland. I'd taught English. James had worked with numbers. We'd both believed in education as a path out of poverty. I'd always thought about creating a scholarship someday when we were gone. But why wait? I'd like to establish a scholarship fund, I told the development director, for first-generation college students studying teaching or accounting. That's wonderful. What amount were you thinking? 300,000 to start. There was a brief pause. That's very generous, Mrs. Chen. My husband and I believed in education. This feels right. Would you like the scholarship named after him? After both of us. The James and Margaret Chen Scholarship for Future Educators and Accountants. When I hung up, I felt something I hadn't felt in 3 years. Purpose. The house went on the market the next week. Jennifer was right. I had 5 offers in 4 days. I accepted the highest one, $920,000. The closing was set for 6 weeks out. That gave me time. Time to pack. Time to find a new place I'd already found. A perfect 2-bedroom condo near the Pearl District, closer to downtown, closer to the art museums Sophie loved. Time to sort through 40 years of accumulated life. And time to tell my children. I didn't tell them about the sale immediately. I wanted everything locked in first, non-negotiable. Sophie helped me pack on Saturdays. She wrapped dishes in newspaper, labeled boxes, told me about school and her art and her dreams of studying design in California. Are you nervous? She asked one day. About leaving this house? No, I said, surprising myself. I thought I would be. But this house is full of memories, and memories come with you. I don't need the building to keep them. What about Dad and Aunt Lisa? Are they helping you move? They don't know yet. She looked up from the box she was packing. They don't know you sold the house? Not yet. Grandma, she grinned. That's savage. I love it. 3 weeks before closing, David called me. Hey, Mom, I need to talk to you about something. My heart sank. Here it comes, I thought. What is it? The startup is in a tight spot. We need a cash infusion, about 50,000, just to get through the next quarter. After that, we'll be profitable, I promise. I know it's a lot, but this is really important. Could you? No. Silence. What? No, David. I can't help you this time. Mom, this is my business, my future. You need to figure it out yourself. I'm not a bank. I never said you were a bank. I'm asking my mother for help. You're asking your mother for money. There's a difference. I can't believe this. His voice was tight. After everything after everything your dad did for you, you couldn't show up to my birthday dinner. Another silence. Longer this time. That's what this is about? I told you, the gala. I know where you were. I saw the Instagram post. So I made a mistake. I'm sorry. But this business is my livelihood, Mom. Amber and I have bills. So do I. And I'm retired, on a fixed income. Figure it out, David. I hung up before he could respond. My hands were shaking, but I felt good, clear. 2 days later, Lisa called. Mom, I heard you said no to David. Word travels fast. That's between David and me. He's really hurt. And honestly, I'm confused. You've always helped us before. Is something wrong? Nothing's wrong. I'm just making different choices now. Look, I get it, you're upset about the birthday thing. But, Mom, we're busy. We have lives. You can't hold that against us forever. I'm not holding anything against anyone. I'm simply choosing not to give away money I might need. Might need for what? You live in that huge house all by yourself. You're retired, Dad. Left you well off. How would you know what I need? You haven't asked about my life in 2 years. That's not fair, isn't it? We're family, Lisa said, her voice rising. Family helps each other. That's what Dad would have wanted. And there it was. The invocation of my dead husband. The trump card. Your father left me a journal, I said quietly. Did you know that? A journal? He wrote about how tired he was of being treated like an ATM. How you and David only called when you needed money. He asked me not to let you bully me after he was gone. That's not we never. She sounded genuinely shocked. Mom, we love you. Love is not a word, Lisa. It's an action. And your actions have been very clear. I can't believe you're saying this. You're our mother. I am. Which is why I raised you to be independent, capable adults. You don't need my money. You need to learn to manage your own. Fine. Her voice was cold now. Fine. Don't help your own children. See if we forget this. I'm sure you won't, I said. Goodbye, Lisa. After those calls, there was silence. Neither of them reached out. No texts, no calls, nothing. It confirmed what I already knew. When the money stopped, so did the contact. Sophie came over the next Saturday looking worried. Dad's really mad at you, she said. He and Amber were talking about how you've changed, how you're being selfish. Do you think I'm being selfish? She thought about it. No. I think you're being smart. Dad and Aunt Lisa have been using you, Grandma. I've seen it for years. I just didn't know how to say it. You're a wise girl. I get it from you. She hugged me. Whatever you're doing, I support you. The closing happened on a Friday in November. I signed the papers, watched the money transfer into my account, and handed over the keys. That night, I slept in my new condo for the first time. It was smaller, more manageable, with big windows overlooking the city. Modern, clean, mine. On Saturday morning, I sent a group text to David and Lisa. I sold the house. Closing was yesterday. I moved into my new place. The address is below if you ever want to visit. My phone rang within 30 seconds. David. You sold the house? Without telling us? It was my house. That was our childhood home. How could you not even ask us? Did you ask me before you missed my birthday? Before you took money from the joint account? Before you started planning to move me into assisted living so you could sell it yourselves? What? Who told you? I heard you. At your father's wake. In the kitchen. He didn't respond. The house is sold, I continued. The money is mine. I've made my decisions, and they don't include funding your business or Lisa's remodels. This is insane. Mom, you're making a huge mistake, You need that money for your future. My future, not yours. Mine. What about our inheritance? There it was. The real question. The only question that had ever mattered. The University of Portland has a new scholarship fund. $300,000 for students who want to become teachers or accountants. It's named after your father and me. You gave away our inheritance to strangers? I gave away my money to a cause I believe in, and Robert has updated my will. When I die, the condo and remaining funds will go to Sophie in a trust she can access for college and living expenses. You and Lisa will each receive $1 as required by law to show you weren't forgotten. You can't do this. I already did. Sophie? You're leaving everything to Sophie? She's 16. She's the only one who acts like family. The only one who shows up. The only one who asks how I am without following it up with a request for money. This is because of one birthday dinner? No, David. This is because of 1,000 small moments when you weren't there. This is because your father died asking me not to let you bully me, and I ignored his advice for 3 years. This is because I'm 68 years old, and I'm done giving pieces of myself to people who don't even see me. He was breathing hard on the other end. You'll regret this. I don't think I will. We're your children. Yes, which is why this hurts. But I didn't abandon you. I'm setting boundaries. There's a difference. I hung up. Lisa called next. I didn't answer. She left a voicemail. Mom, this is cruel. This is vindictive. We made one mistake, and you're punishing us for life? That's not the mother I know. Call me back. We need to talk about this. I deleted the voicemail. The next few weeks were hard. I won't lie. There were nights I lay awake wondering if I'd done the right thing, if I was being too harsh, if I should call them, apologize, fix it. But then I'd remember the dining table, the cold chicken, the burned-down candles. I'd remember James's journal. You owe them nothing. And I'd remember Sophie, showing up every Saturday, asking me about my life, caring about me as a person and not an inheritance. Patricia came over often. We'd drink tea in my new condo, play Scrabble, talk about books and grandchildren, and what we wanted to do with our remaining years. How are you feeling? She asked one evening. Lighter, I said. Is that strange? I thought I'd feel guilty, but I just feel free. That's not strange at all. You've been carrying them for decades. It's okay to put the weight down. I started taking art classes at the community center, met new people, joined a book club, volunteered at the literacy center downtown. Sophie came to my new place every Saturday, just like she used to visit the old house. We'd go to museums, try new restaurants, work on her portfolio for college applications. Have you heard from them? She asked one day. We were at the Portland Art Museum, looking at a Georgia O'Keeffe exhibit. No. You? Dad asked me not to see you anymore. Said you're being manipulative and I'm too young to understand. My heart clenched. You don't have to come, Sophie. I don't want to cause problems between you and your father. Grandma, I'm 16, not 6. I can make my own decisions, and I choose you. I hugged her then, right there in the museum, and didn't care who saw. Christmas came. I half expected a card, a text, something. Nothing. I spent Christmas with Patricia and her family. It was loud and warm and chaotic, and no one asked me for money. Sophie came on Christmas Eve. She gave me a painting she'd made me in the garden of the old house, tending to the hydrangeas. I wanted you to have this, she said. So you remember that home isn't always a place. Sometimes it's a feeling. I cried. Happy tears. New Year's came. I made a resolution to stop waiting for people who weren't coming. In January, I got an email from the university. The first Chen scholarship had been awarded to a young woman named Maria, a first-generation college student who wanted to be a math teacher. They sent me her essay. She wrote about her parents, immigrants who'd worked 2 jobs to support her, who'd believed in education as the path to a better life. She sounded like James. I wrote back to the university and asked if I could meet her. We had coffee in February. Maria was bright, earnest, grateful. She told me about her classes, her plans, her dreams. "Mrs. Chen," she said, "this scholarship, it's not just money. It's someone believing in me. It's hope." I thought about David and Lisa. All the money I'd given them over the years. All the times I'd bailed them out, smoothed the path, made things easier. Had I given them hope? Or had I taken away their chance to build their own? In March, Sophie got into 3 art schools. She chose the California College of the Arts in San Francisco. "Will you come to my graduation?" she asked. Wild horses couldn't keep me away. In April, I got a letter from Lisa. "Mom, I've had time to think. I was angry, but I'm trying to understand. Maybe we did take you for granted. Maybe we did only call when we needed something. But we're your children. Doesn't that count for something? Can we talk? Please?" I read it 3 times. Then I called her. "Lisa." "Mom." She sounded nervous. "Thank you for calling. I got your letter." I meant what I said. "I've been thinking a lot. About Dad. About you. About everything. I appreciate that. Could we meet? Get coffee? I'd really like to talk." I hesitated. Part of me wanted to say no, to protect myself from more disappointment. But another part of me, the part that had raised this girl, taught her to read, held her when she cried, that part wanted to try. "Coffee," I said. "But Lisa, I need you to understand something." "What?" "I'm not changing my mind about the money. The house is sold, the scholarship is established, the will is updated. Those decisions are final. I'm not calling about money." "Good. Then we can talk." We met the next week at a cafe near my condo. Lisa looked older than I remembered, tired. We ordered coffee, sat in uncomfortable silence. "I don't know where to start," she finally said. "Start wherever you need to. I'm sorry. About your birthday. About all of it. You were right. We did take you for granted." "Why?" "I don't know. We just got used to it, I guess. You and Dad were always there, always helping. We didn't think about what you might need. We just assumed you'd always say yes. Your father said yes too many times. He told me that before he died. I didn't know he felt that way. He didn't want to hurt you, neither did I. But saying yes to everything you asked for meant saying no to myself, and I can't do that anymore." She nodded, eyes wet. "Are we too late to fix this?" "That depends." "On what?" "On whether you want a relationship with me or access to what I have." "I want my mom," she said, and her voice broke. "I want my mom back." I reached across the table and took her hand. "I'm right here. I've always been here. But I need you to show up, not with requests, not with expectations. Just show up. Ask me about my life. Tell me about yours. Be present." "I can do that." "Can you?" "I want to try." We talked for 2 hours. It wasn't perfect. There were hard moments, accusations, defenses, tears. But it was honest. More honest than we'd been in years. "What about David?" she asked finally. "I don't know. He hasn't reached out. He's stubborn. Like Dad. I'm stubborn too, also like Dad." She almost smiled. "What now?" "Now you decide. Do you want to be in my life as it is? Not as you wish it was, but as it is? Small condo, fixed income, boundaries?" "Yes," she said. "I do." We started slowly. Coffee once a month, then every other week. She told me about her work, her struggles. I told her about my art classes, my volunteer work, the scholarship fund. She met Sophie for lunch one day. They talked for hours. "Grandma's different," Sophie told me later. "Happy. Have you noticed?" I had. David never called. Sophie said he was still angry, still convinced I'd been manipulated or was losing my mind. It hurt. But I couldn't force him to see what he didn't want to see. In June, I attended Sophie's high school graduation. Lisa came too. We sat together, cheered when Sophie's name was called, took photos afterward. David wasn't there. He'd said he would be, but something came up at work. Sophie smiled through it, but I saw the hurt in her eyes. Later, at dinner, just the three of us, Sophie said, "I'm glad you guys are here. This means more than you know." "We wouldn't miss it," Lisa said. "Family shows up." Sophie looked at me. I looked at Lisa. Something had shifted. Something small but significant. In August, I helped Sophie move into her dorm in San Francisco. Lisa came too. We spent a weekend getting her settled, exploring the city, eating good food. On our last night, Sophie gave me another painting. This one showed 3 women at a table, laughing, holding coffee cups. "That's us," she said. "The family I choose." Lisa looked at it and started crying. "I'm so sorry, I almost missed this. Almost missed you." "But you didn't," I said. "You're here now. That's what matters." I'm 69 now. It's been a year since I sold the house, since I chose myself, since I learned that love is supposed to feel like love, not like loss. David and I still don't speak. Maybe we never will. That's his choice, and I've made peace with it. But I have Lisa back. Not perfectly, not without complications, but genuinely. And I have Sophie, who teaches me every day that family is something you build, not something you're born into. The scholarship fund has helped 4 students so far. I get letters from them. They tell me about their classes, their struggles, their dreams. They remind me why I became a teacher in the first place. My life is smaller now, quieter, but it's mine. I'm not waiting anymore. Not waiting for people to show up, to appreciate me, to love me the way I deserve. I'm done giving myself away. And for the first time in 40 years, I'm enough, just as I am. That night, that birthday night, when I sat alone at a table set for 5, I thought I was learning about betrayal. But I was wrong. I was learning about freedom.